Hello and welcome back to the Cartoonist Studio. This week we're going back onto the single panels, and the reason I do that, and I will explain it in the video again, is that when people like to learn how to draw cartoons, and part of this channel is about learning from a professional, tips of the trade and all that kind of stuff. And the best way to do that is with a single panel, because a single panel can be about a multitude of themes. And this one is about how I simplify a single panel to help it stand out on a page full of other single panels, so as your ideas punch out above the others. It's all about getting yourself to the top of people's consciousness. So that's what the video is about this week. It is a cartoon that I've drawn from my Noodle Paste book, or the book on Amazon, which is titled Out of the Primordial Inkpot. And there'll be a little bit of an ad about that about halfway through. So penciling and inking a single panel, and if you like that kind of thing, then if you go to the playlists, there's a whole section of single panel cartoons that I've illustrated. Right, without further ado, on to the video. Okay, so here we go for another Diary of a Cartoonist. I know I've done an awful lot of single panel cartoons, and we're going to do another one today, but they really are good for showing techniques, because a single panel, as opposed to a comic strip, doesn't have a set character, or doesn't normally have a set character, so you get to draw an awful lot of things. So if you're coming over here to learn the nuts and bolts of cartooning, then single panels are definitely a good idea. So we're going to work off quite a simple one now. Recently, although you can see that there's a rectangle, or sort of like a slightly oversized square here, I'm doing this because, the box won't be there when I finished. It's just as a guide. What I tend to do now is I tend to draw the cartoon, and then when I finish and I've inked it, wherever the character touches the sides, I give that a straight line. It'll become apparent later on. It's just a nice way that I've found of doing it. These characters, you're just going to see the top half, so you're not going to see them standing up. If I was to draw the two characters standing next to each other, I draw them within the box but not touching anything, and then probably I'll draw one character here, one character there, and maybe in Photoshop I'd do a big ellipse, and that would be that. I'm trying to minimize this as much as I can, cut out as much unnecessary scenery as possible. So this is my go-to couple, my unhappily married couple. I'm not bitter, but so we just have them here now. I'm already not happy with that. Way too big. Yeah, so we'll start again. A little bit smaller, I think. Higher up. Yes, that's probably about right. Always using shapes. Remember, I always talk about cartoons. I say you use the shapes. The shapes are used because when you're drawing characters, even if you're just drawing one character, a one-off character, it's always good to know the shape. If you're using a regular character like in a comic strip, then it's important that you know how to draw that character every single time. In the same way, like I draw him like this, I could draw him jumping off a swimming board or sitting in a car, and it'll always be the same character because I've used the same formula, the same format. Right, so once again, I'm not going to give you the punchline until the cartoon's finished. But once I've got the shape, you see, once I've built the shape like this shape here, and the nose and all that, I can put the hair off it, I can put the mouth within it, a little moustache, those little warty things that I do. And you've got the shape of the body here, so you know the arm's going to come about here. So it's all there for you. Once you've got the shapes, everything else is so much easier. There's the arm, and there's the sleeve. So, or I've drawn the first one quite quickly. I'll draw the other character a little bit more slowly. So you'll see. So I'll break it down a bit more so you can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. I've discovered through people leaving comments below, which is what I always ask you to do. Leave a comment. Anything you want to know, ask me. Anything you'd like to see, let me know. I've been saying that for a while, and people have started to pay attention to it, and they're starting to do that. And one of the things that is turning up quite regularly is that although you don't mind me prattling on, you do like to actually learn some stuff. So, I've got this incredible wealth of cartoon information or knowledge, and you want to hear it, and why not? So that's what I'm doing. I'm slowing it all down. And here we've got a kitchen table. So they're at the breakfast table or having dinner or whatever they're doing, but basically they're at the table. So they're sitting down, so there's no point having the whole body. There's no benefit to it, shall we say. So keep it simple. It's a single panel. Remember, single panels are generally used in newspapers or magazines, and they are reduced down to probably about something. Well, if that's the size I send it to them, it'll probably come out sort of around that size in print. So you can imagine from that to that, that's quite a considerable reduction. So you keep everything very clear, concise, and simple. But it still has to look like what it is, which is in this case, it's a breakfast seed. So we'll have a cup, maybe some salt and pepper, that kind of thing. Another cup here. I'm just doing rough shapes at the moment, just so I know where they are. They're not that important. It's just that's what you call a scene setter, or what I call a scene setter. And now we'll draw herself, the wife, the little lady, or in this case, not a little lady. See, once again, same shape, come off an oval there. This is how I do it. You might want to draw circular heads or more triangular heads. It's entirely up to you. And there we go. There's the shape again. There's the shape of her. So now she's exactly the same shape as him. I've literally brought the head down to there and then brought the body around. That's the shape of the body. And to delineate, big words now. Look at this. I have no idea what it means. But to delineate between the head, the neck, and the rest of the body, I'm just putting in the top of a dress. And she's going to have exactly the same hair. So this is the shape I originally worked on. There we go. I wouldn't normally strengthen that. I draw it very light sketches, but that's the shape I first worked on. So starting at the top of it, just bring the hair around like so. Now I haven't given her ears because we'll put an earring in there. There you go. For some reason, I've never drawn ears on women. Whenever I do draw them, they just don't look right. So I just don't do it. So effectively, she is a carbon copy. Oh, actually, she's not talking. Strange enough, she's not talking. So we'll just have she's not happy. And then in goes her sleeve. She's not pointing or anything else like that. So just down like that. And with the dress, that's the dotty one. Same with her. Here, you're just literally roughing it out. You can put those in or complete them more when you're inking if you so wish. So that is that. That's your. Actually, no, I'm going to do it this way. Using this as a guideline. A perfect ellipse, of course it won't because I'm not using the ellipse. I've not got one big enough for this. He's doing the talking. She's doing the scowling. It's a marriage made in heaven, hell, whichever you want to call it. And there we have it. Right. So, but for the sake of this, because she's a bit too further over there and he's over there, I will probably just lose this bit there. And when I come to ink it, it will see what I mean. So this cartoon is actually taken from my Noodle Pates collection, which is on Amazon. So whilst I get myself ready with the inking, we'll just give you a little flip through of the book so you can see what it is. And if you like it, you can go onto Amazon. There's a universal link for that book. It's called Out of the Primordial Inkpot. Right, whilst I waffle on inanely over there about the book for a couple of seconds, I'll go and get myself ready to do the inking. Okay, see you in a few minutes. Okay, now on to the ad bit. And what we're talking about today is my book collection Out of the Primordial Inkpot, which is this here. This is a book collection of single panel cartoons and a cartoon that I used to run 3 times a week on social media called Noodle Pates. Noodle Pates being an old medieval word which meant someone who was twisted in the head, which kind of describes the humour in this cartoon. So if you like that kind of stuff, you like my cartoons, you like my humour, then here's a book full of the stuff that I did. Now, some of you on here may remember the cartoon. Most of you won't. So this will be fairly new material to you. But what I will say, as a full disclosure, is the cartoons that I've got on my playlist on how to draw single panel cartoons. A lot of them were redrawings of cartoons that are in this book. So there's a full disclosure for you. But the rest of it will be all new material to you. So like I say, you like my material, you like my humour, and you want to think of a good way that entertains you and also supports this channel, then this is one way of doing it. In the universal links in the description below are links for all of my books. So if this isn't your cup of tea, but a graphic novel is, well, there's Sleepy Hamlet. If you like an actual novel, there's a Sleepy Hamlet novel there. If you want children's books for your children or your grandchildren or your nephews and your nieces, there's children's books there. There's also collections on golf, dad jokes, all kinds of things. Go and have a look, see what I've done. It's an excellent way to support the channel. Right, thank you for that. Now let's get back on with the video, shall we? Did you like that? Did you rush off and buy a copy? I hope you did. Or if you didn't, I hope you will be soon. Right, now I'm going to show you, and I'm going to put a little bit of a border, not all the way around here, because I told you I only want to do certain parts. I use the panel as just an idea. So this is another way. You can use the pens like I normally do. Normally I do borders with pens. But I'm just going to show you another way that you can ink using a brush or a dip pen. It will be the same with both of them. Now what we do, and I'll show you first. I'll talk you through it first before I do it. Is if I put the ruler down and I got the brush and I did that, it would catch under the bottom of the ruler and would just spread down. So it would be a horrible mess. So the ruler cannot be touching the paper. Well, at least the leading edge there can't be touching the paper. So how do we do it? This is how we do it. We move it to about here. So you can see quite clearly the line beneath. And just give yourself a dry run if you want to. You want the ferrule on there. The brush is now at an angle, and so as you can just do so. Right, we've got it right where we want it. Now I'm going to attempt to give myself the border where I want it. So I start there and then just run it along. Like so. Was worse with the first bit of ink dipped in because it never holds that well. I don't really want to come back into it second time round, but there we go. There's that. And then I flick it over. And I do the same for the word balloon. A bit more ink on there. And we're away. I think this is how it used to be done before dip pens were around. So there you go. Sorry, not dip pens, sorry, fountain pens. So there you have all I need to do for the border. The rest of the border will be rubbed out when I come to finish it all off. And you'll just be left with a very clean white space behind the characters and just them. So you can imagine then you go onto a comics page in a magazine, and you've got all these cartoons in full colour, and there's all sorts of scenery going on around them and all kinds of stuff happening. And then there's yours, which is just two characters or the one character or the group of characters and no background, just white, and it will stand out beautifully against everything else. Don't get me wrong, I draw cartoons where there's other scenery, but I try and keep it as minimalist as possible. And there we have it, just going to fill all this in. It'll happen quite quickly. It's a very quick cartoon, but if you're learning, if you're picking up the techniques of cartoons, if I just give you involved cartoons, well, the kind of cartoons that I would normally do, they're not involved for me, but they might be, well, they would be if you were just starting out. So it's good to have a collection, more simple ones, more involved ones, and you can just go from one to the other, and you can sort of catalogue your progression, shall we say, along the line to becoming a cartoonist or a professional cartoonist, or what you consider to be professional by your own standards. So this is a much simpler one, or simpler format. I've gone over a bit here, that's all right, that can be removed in Photoshop. If I was colouring it by hand, I'd be a bit more careful. Now you'll notice, I'll just finish this line here. You'll notice there that that was the original one, but when I did it by hand, I thought, I don't like it, it's not the right shape. So I corrected it with the brush. Now I can do that because I've been doing it for so many years. If you're starting out, I suggest that you get that line right in the first place. As you become more confident within your style, you'll be able to do those sort of things I do yourself. There we are. Put his little, whatever these things are, knobbly bits on his nose. And away we go. Now, this is where I like to use the thick and the thin lines. So start off thin, and we'll bring it very thick to here, okay? So start off slow, light pressure, but as we come to the curve here, more pressure on the brush and slow your stroke down. See what happens there? Thin, pressure, thick. I'll do that again here on the sleeve of his dress thing. Thin, thick, and just average. And then the creases are always thin. Never have a thick crease. Well, I don't anyway. You do what you want. It's your cartoons. And this is my style. I appreciate that when you want to learn, you're going to want to have your own style eventually. And that's all fine and well. But if you can use my style to practice with, to get all your techniques, then when you create your own, and it will happen just by, well, it's just natural progression, I guess, your style will start to evolve. You'll already have the techniques at your fingertips, or the techniques that you want to use at your fingertips. Thick, thin, thin, thick, thin, and so on. I know I talk about this thick and thin lines a lot, and it seems to be that whenever I talk about it, whatever project I'm doing at the time, it doesn't, I can't really show it. It's usually quite sort of fine detail. So with a drawing like this, with the characters that much bigger, I can actually show you the thick and thin. I almost shot over there and almost forgot there was a teacup there. So the scenery, I would do usually finer lines, because the scene is just there to set the scene, as I said previously. It's not essential, it's not important, it's not germane to the picture. You might want to give it a bit of a design, I don't know. Your choice. I'm just putting a few stripes on the cup. Now this is a fold, but because it's a major fold, I'll have that one a bit thicker, and then a thin line coming off it. And the same here, a few thin lines. And I think because it's an outer line, I'll give it a bit more thickness. You can always go back over them. I normally get it right first time, but when I'm doing a YouTube video and I'm talking whilst I'm filming, like I am now, sometimes I do overdubs. But if I am talking, then I can't necessarily concentrate too much on the rest of the picture. So mistakes are made. Do you want to know the punchline is? You have to wait till the very end for that. Well, that's a YouTube thing, isn't it? Don't go away, because at the end, the whole cartoon will be revealed. That's what they say, and they say like and subscribe and all those kind of things. So, but yeah, nothing wrong with saying like and subscribe. It's how the channel grows. YouTube keeps sending me messages saying you're not growing as fast as you were last month, and the next month you're not growing as fast as you were last month. And Christ almighty, I wasn't growing fast last month, according to you, and I'm growing even slower. Any more now, and I'll be in reverse. But I am grateful for all of you who have liked and subscribed, or subscribed. I'm very grateful for that. And there are those of you out there who come across this channel and you enjoy the video, hopefully, but you don't subscribe. Well, just hit the subscribe button. And if you really like what I do, then in the drop-down menu with subscribe, there's like 3 bells. Click the one that says all, and every video that I do, you'll get notified by YouTube. Or, in all fairness, they don't always notify you, but when you go to your YouTube page, you'll have all the subscribers there, and mine will be there with us. If it's not immediately noticeable in the first few, it's because it's not one you watch all the time. I've got about 20. I think I subscribe to about 20 different channels. And it's only the ones I watch every single week religiously that are there at the top, are there at the first few videos. So if you really like it, then watch it, and after a few times it'll be amongst the top sort of 4 or 5. Right, coming to the end of this one. Another one. I don't know what we'll be doing on the next video. No idea about that. Guess we'll have to wait and see. It'll be in a fortnight. But yeah, so we've got another single panel. If you like the single panels or how they are produced, if you go over to my playlist section, well, there'll be a tab at the top for playlists. There's a whole load of them there. I've done a lot of cartoon single panel tutorials. So you really do get to see, like I say, a variety of things being drawn. It's a good place to go to learn how to draw a lot of things in cartoon. This is a little kitchen table. I could put a window in here, but it would detract from the 2 main characters, and we don't want to do that. For this joke, it's very important that you observe the 2 characters so you can see exactly what's going on. And just the final circle of it. So thank you once again for your time. It's been wonderful having you here. Please do keep coming back to see everything else that I do. Like I say, like and subscribe, but also share it. Share it on your social medias, or in your blog, or your video, or your um, website, or anything, whatever you've got. Share it. Let people know about it. Talk about it. You're chatting away with your friends and they talk about YouTube. Mention this one. You'd be surprised how many people, when they find out, oh, there's a guy who's an idiot who draws cartoons. You want to go along and have a look at him. People think, oh, that's unusual. I'm going to have a look at that. And they may very well become subscribers too. And then you've got something to talk about in common. Wouldn't that be good? Right, that's it. I've just put the creases on there for her. And we are done. So thank you. Thank you very much for spending a period of time with me and my crazes. And I will see you on the next video. If you like these single panel cartoons, you like my humour, you like my irreverent look at life, then there's a lot of stuff on my Amazon page, collections of cartoons and what have you. Pop along, see what you like. If you just want the single panels, then Out of the Primordial Ink Pot is there as well. It's there, ready for your perusal and purchase. Okay, once again, thank you very much. I'll see you in a fortnight, and bye-bye for now.